Welcome back everybody, High Tech Lab here. What you're looking at on screen right now are 4 solar panels, and I got these panels as a kit on Amazon, and they are 250 watt solar panels, and they came with microinverters and the aluminum racking. I built a base for this out of 2x4s quite some time ago, and this whole thing's portable with the tractor. Now, I have these running with the grid tie inverters, backfeeding my off-grid inverter, and it's been working quite well, but the only problem is it can cause the batteries to become overcharged and have the high voltage cut out, turn the power off, so that these can't continue to feed back into the system. Around here on the back, you'll see I have these N-phase microinverters, and they feed into this main loom, and this main loom goes into a junction box which feeds back into my power system. Now I'm going to change this configuration today, but I kind of wanted to go over what I have here with these microinverters running in an off-grid application. Currently this seal tight comes out of the bell box and runs up on the shipping container where my air compressor is and piggybacks through the conduit that feeds the air compressor. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this box so I can get access to the wires. So I've got this junction box open and I can easily clamp onto one of the wires, and see I have 3.48 amps going back into my system on the red wire, and the black wire should be about the same, 3.48 amps, and they have a neutral in here. I'm pretty sure this is just for detecting that they have a qualified input, but these N-phase inverters actually do work quite well, and they don't mind being in this off-grid application whatsoever. Now obviously there's room for improvement here. I can make these so they're not just kind of flopping here in the breeze. They used to be secured a little better, but I must have used screws that were a little too small. But like I said, I was really mainly trying to get the proof of concept on these inverters to make sure they were going to work in this application before I invested all the time in making these a very nice fancy setup. Now is when I'm taking the time to make that fancy setup happen. So here in between my shipping containers, I have a 6" by 6" by 12" pull box, and this is the pull box I'm going to drill a hole into and land the power coming in from these solar panels so I can run them right into my automation panel. Now this is really easy because I have a piece of conduit that goes right into my wireway, and that wireway allows me to easily pull the wire through into my industrial control panel. Now I'm in my electrical room and it's somewhat noisy because I have all sorts of power being sent all sorts of places, such as heating the spa and running the air conditioner here in the electrical room. Now that wireway I just showed you is right behind this wall on the outside, and there's a nipple that comes through into this gutter. So I can just come down and around following the generator power inlet wires. Now I changed my mind completely on this, and I'll go over that here in a little bit. But for now, this is the end of the run, and I'll probably just cap the ends of this and close that box up and do this later. What my original plan was to wrap around this corner and have a pull box here on the side, and this is where the grid tie solar was going to tie in, and then have another junction box where I could weld a pole on the top of the container similar to my microwave antenna over on this corner and have lighting for out in this field. But I've completely changed that idea, and for 2 reasons. I have the grid tie solar moved over here in line with the other panels, and this rack really doesn't look very good. So I'm going to get rid of this rack completely and build racks similar to these other ones out of wood and mount these panels on the edges just like the other ones. And these microinverters are going to go away for now, and that's partly because I looked at these specs on these panels, and if you're looking down here on the bottom, you look, the open circuit voltage is 37.6 volts, and that's not very far off from my other panels. These other panels, the open circuit voltage is 37.5 volts, so I can put them almost identical matches. And the reason I had these on grid tie racks, I forgot about it, but I had these 4 panels in series and the voltage was too high because all my other solar panels were running 3 panels in series. So now that I'm running these as 4 panels in series, they're actually a good match, and I can just tie them in with the rest of the panels in my solar combiner box. So call me crazy, but I'm going to move all of these solar panels out into the field. I'm going to go to the corner of that container over there with a piece of 2" PVC pipe And I have all that here in the back of the truck, and I'll just dig a trench and run all this. And I need a 2-inch PVC pipe in the future because we're going to build a metal building, and that's going to be the power feed for the metal building. But for the time being, I can just run the solar lines in there and backfeed the power and get these out of the way, and it'll work out pretty nice. My goal with all this is just to eliminate things that can't be driven over. In this case, I have a 1-inch seal tight going back to my electrical room, and that's quite a pain in the butt to try and drive through here because first off, the solar panels block the way, and second off, you can't drive through here because there's a conduit in the way, and that's quite annoying. So I'm going to go ahead and put the backhoe down, dig a trench in the ground, and solve the problem of not being able to drive through here. Now over here is where I plan to put the solar panels. I have a clean out here for the septic system, and this is where our metal building is going to go. And if you look at kind of where the grass is greener, that's where that trench is run. So I'm going to come out this way toward the south and still keep some of the panels facing east and some of the panels facing west, and I'll just run the trench over here. You can kind of see in the background where those other solar panels are. This is about 160 feet away from the electrical room, and I have a good little buddy hanging out here. This is a good little gopher snake, if you can see under the log. He's been hanging out here for a couple days. A good snake, not a rattlesnake. And yeah, here's the shot of the solar panels flat on top of the shipping container. These are all going to come down. I'm going to build 4 ground mount racks for these out of wood, and then the 1 ground mount rack for those grid type panels, and they'll all be tied into my Outback charge controllers. So I will no longer have solar panels on top of the shipping container, and I will no longer have grid tie solar panels. Even though the idea worked great, I can do it again in the future, but for now it makes the most sense just to tie in the Outback charge controllers because all these will function quite well in that setup. So yeah guys, super excited to do this project. Stay tuned, I'll have a video out here in the next couple of days because I'm going to get this trench dug and get some pipe in the ground, and we're going to build more solar panel racks. There's a lot of stuff coming to the channel here pretty soon. I'm super excited for it. So be sure to subscribe and let your friends that like off-grid solar know that there's plenty of awesome content coming soon. Other than that, be sure to check out my other videos, and again, subscribe to the channel and ask any questions in the comments below. Catch you guys later. Bye now. So little blooper here at the end, you guys got to think about this. We're learning as we go, so it's perfectly okay to change our mind on ideas, and in my case, not going with the grid tie solar panels is one of those cases where I just thought something through and realized there was a much better solution that was cheaper and would work out better in the long run. So that's all I've got going on here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Catch you in the next one.